Hello everybody and welcome to another expanded guide. It's been a while since we've done one of these because we've been in the new player guides, but now we're back here to talk about cards in shorter detail this time as we just kind of go through multiple expansions. If this is your first expanded guide that you're watching, which it might be if you just got the Dunwich Legacy box and you're like, who's this Zoey? How do I make her work? I have every other card. What can I do? This is we're going to go through and we're going to talk about just like notable cards from each cycle up to Edge of the Earth, because Scarlet Keys is not out, but we're going to be handling that in the future. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. Buckle up as we get in for probably like an hour-ish. So, if you have some popcorn, eat it. And if you don't, don't. Zoey, she has 4 brain, 2 book, 4 fist, and 2 foot. Her ability is nice and simple. After you become engaged with an enemy, gain a resource.
Everything about Zoey is nice and simple.
It is. Zoey is a really good, simple investigator, but she actually is not, weak either.
No, she's very good.
Yeah. And just because also she can do things because her ability is economy. She wants to be killing things, she wants to be engaging things, and then she also just gets paid for it at the process, which is pretty sick. Her Elder Sign effect is if this skill test is successful during an attack, that attack deals +1 damage.
Very rarely relevant, but when it is, whew.
Yeah. This one is a magnet for a brain check. Yeah. You're taking a brain check during the Mythos phase, there's your Elder Sign. And then you probably
passed it, so you're happy there. Good.
But exactly. When it hits, it's really nice. Yeah. Zoey has the Dunwich deck building, which means that she gets to run up to 5 level 0 cards from any other class. This doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is a pretty good chunk to make your Zoeys. You could do a lot of different things with the Zoeys depending on what you choose.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat build around cards at level 0 that you can include, or cards that just complement the other things that she can build.
Yeah. And because how this is going to work, we're not going to talk about every level 0 card of all colors because then we'd be here a very long time. But Travis has chosen a few notable ones for Zoey. Zoey's signature is called Zoey's Cross. It's a 1-cost accessory slot. After an enemy becomes engaged with you, exhausted, and spend a resource, deal 1 damage to that enemy. You get to turn your economy from your ability into damage, which is really nice. Yeah. So because I believe I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can, and there might be some weird rulings for it that goes a little bit deeper than this, but because both of these are after you become triggers, after you become engaged with an enemy and after an enemy becomes engaged with you, they can work in the order that you want, so you can gain the resource and then deal the damage.
I hope so, because I've been playing it like that for 5 years.
Her weakness is actually not too bad, so it's called Smite the Wicked. You discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. Attach Smite the Wicked to that enemy and spawn it at the location farthest from you. Forced, when the game ends, if attached enemy is in play, Zoey suffers 1 mental trauma. This is a pretty soft weakness because your job is to kill things anyway. There can be times where it goes into a location that is just awkwardly.
Every once in a while it's gonna get you, or you draw it on the last upkeep of the game or something like that. And you're like, okay.
But the mental trauma, as you can see in her weaknesses, she has lowish sanity. You can take 1 Smite the Wicked trauma and be totally okay.
Oh yeah.
At 2, you're gonna have to start having a plan for that, right?
Yeah, especially if you you're probably, it's not unreasonable to think if you have 2 mental trauma from Smite the Wicked, you're gonna get more during the scenario.
Yeah. Also, sometimes you can just get lucky and if that enemy is discarded because maybe the location leaves play.
Got him.
Yeah, you got him. God smote the wicked there.
Yeah.
Her strengths, apart from her her 4 fists, she has 4 will, which is a very nice number to have for her brain.
Yeah, it's good for the Mythos phase, and it plays really well with a lot of the off-color, especially the purple cards that you can play.
Yeah. She also has very good economy because it's just written on her card. Who would have thought? Weaknesses, of course, the limited card pool. Even though we said there's a lot you can do with the 5 splash cards.
Yeah, it's no 5/2.
Yeah, you're upgrading into Guardian.
Yep.
Which is not that exciting. And as I said, the lowish sanity, which can become a problem if...
You can upgrade into neutral, which is even less exciting.
That is true, yes. You can choose between more flavors of richer chocolate or vanilla. Those are the 2 choices you have. And chocolate's good, but you put some honeycomb in there. Oh my god, it becomes even better. But you don't get to do that, not with Zoey.
No.
All right, Travis, why don't I throw you into the core set cards?
Oh, look at all those little stamps there.
Yeah, so these stamps, if it has a little the weapon stamp, that means that you can find us talking about in greater detail than this video about that weapon in the weapon staple video down below. If there's the Elder sign, you'll see us talking about it in the staples for that class, because the staples are kind of like cards that you're going to want to run, because like they're...
You need a reason not to run them as opposed to a reason to run them.
Yeah. And then there you might also see spell and clue as well, which follows the same sort of thing as weapon.
Yeah, first up we have, I'll talk about the 45 automatic and the Shade together because they're very similar. They're just weapons, one-handed, and you get to fight and do extra damage. Mm-hmm. The extra damage is really what you're looking for in your weapons because it means less actions to kill the guy. Mm-hmm. Pretty simple. These are, you start off with the Zoey deck, you throw 2 Machetes and 2 45 automatics in, like some prepared for the worst. So, like, you got a deck.
Yep.
Next up, we got a couple of allies. We have Beat Cop, gives you +1 fist, push him to a nice comfortable 5, and you can dump him to do that last damage to an enemy. Guard Dog also lets you do testless damage to an enemy, and soaks 3 hearts. Some of the soak cards are especially good for Zoey because you're going to be wanting to engage enemies as opposed to just like killing them when one of your teammates has them, which can result in some sort of awkward turns where you don't have enough actions to actually kill the enemy for whatever reason. And so especially cards like Guard Dog and we'll see later Survival Knife play really nicely for her. Vicious Blow is extra damage. It's good. Emergency Cash, gain 3 resources.
So good.
Yeah, the economy cards aren't quite as important for Zoey. You can skimp on them a little bit because of her ability. But she's still a guardian and your cards still cost a lot.
Yeah.
You got Guts, Unexpected Courage, and Overpower. All 3 of these give you +2 to a relevant stat. The Overpower and the Guts replace themselves, which is really nice, but the Unexpected Courage is more flexible.
Yeah. Extra ammunition, if you're going to be running firearms, this is essentially another copy of that gun, so to speak. You have to have the first gun out to play it, but it's a really good rate for getting 3 more shots on your 45 automatic or on your bigger gun, especially if it's, put some experience into it.
Yeah.
Upgraded B-Cop still gives you the fist, but now you can also use it multiple times to deal damage, and testless damage is really good, especially if you can get over that health bump.
It doesn't cost you an action.
Yeah, it's just lightning. It's a good combination. Police Badge. This is a fun little accessory that you can play with Zoey. Gives you more brain, which puts you to 5, which is a really good number.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
And then also you can discard it to take 2 additional turns. Choose
During
an investigator.
any player's turn.
Yeah, it's just if you need the actions to deal a bunch of damage to a boss, go for it. If your Clover needs to take some actions to get the last clues off a location, or if you just want to give it to Skids O'Toole to make him feel good.
I need you to evade everything.
Yeah.
There's so many snakes here.
Those are all the options that you can do with Police Badge. Elder Sign Amulet is soak if you need to worry about your brain. Just 4 brain soak.
Yep, that accessory slot is pretty flexible for Zoey, so.
Here are some off-color notable cards in the core set. We have Shriveling. So this looks a bit strange, maybe. You're like, I'm a fighter. Why would I use my brain? Well, because it's basically just 45 automatic.
It is almost the same.
Yeah. Just doesn't give you the fist boost. That's really all the big difference. And it's 1 cheaper for the same amount of shots.
Yeah, it's probably not a card that you want to be finishing the campaign with in your deck, but it is just a solid choice for that slot if you're looking for more weapons, especially if you have a smaller collection.
Yeah. Drawn to the Flame. You draw the top card in the counter deck to gain 2 clues. Your brain is 4. You'll probably be okay, and if you draw an enemy, you'll gain a resource. Yeah, the card paid you to play it.
Yeah.
Water Protection is a staple. Stop a bad revelation effect. Yeah, so you can run it. And it's one of those things, too, that, if you're playing Zoey and someone else is your Clover and they're not using Water Protection, consider running it, just because...
Yeah, it's just good.
The horror is a little bit more notable, but you have a beat cop who can take it for you just in these cards here.
Yeah, you're going to be prepared to take some amount of horror.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Lucky is another staple that if no one is running, consider running. It just gives you +2 to a test that you were going to fail. And then you might be able to pass it. Yeah.
Like when you're shooting at your teammate.
Exactly, yeah. I was actually thinking recently about how when we were playing Edge of the Earth and Bryn shot you when he had the riot whistle and he could have just engaged it. I was just laughing about that to myself recently.
Why though? He's like,
yeah, I have this riot whistle. All right, what about in Dunwich?
Here we have a smoking pipe. This is a slotless way to keep your horror healthy, and it's actually really nice if you do accumulate a couple trauma. You can just turn that trauma into damage, which is something that is... Damage soak is a lot cheaper for Guardians than Horror Soak in general, so... Bandolier gives you an additional hand slot to hold weapons.
Yep.
It's nice if you have a two-handed weapon like a lightning gun or a shotgun or something like that you want to be running around with for big monsters, but also you want your machete still to kill little things.
Yep.
Prepared for the Worst is a staple. It makes your deck more consistent and you should play it. Leadership is a practice skill, which is a big part of why it's here.
Yeah.
I think. But
well, no, when I was making these slides, and I started noticing all the practice skills, I'm like, I'm gonna wager Travis put practice makes perfect in here, and then I got to it, and I was like,
yeah. Good level 0 card.
I mean, there's a lot of relevant practice skills. We'll get to that in the future, though.
But yeah, this one gives you +1 to any of your tests, or if you commit to a teammate's test, it's worth 2 of anything, or 3 brains, which is a really nice way to support your teammates. Brother Xavier, who pushes you up to that 5 brain again, and he can be assigned damage and or horror dealt to other investigators at your location. And when he's defeated, you get to deal 2 damage to an enemy at your location. This is a great ally for just like dumping damage into. You appreciate the brain while you have it, but you don't need to keep it around. It costs 5 money, which is a lot, but it is less for Zoe. Not literally less, but like...
It feels like less.
Functionally less.
Yeah. It's one of those things that if you are going to plan on playing Brother Xavier, or like a lightning gun, as we're going to get to, as Travis said, you can definitely skimp on your economy, but like if you're going to be running multiple 5-cost cards, just still keep your economy in there.
Yeah, you can play like a normal-ish Guardian cost curve and then play less economy cards, or you can play a higher cost curve and play the same amount of economy cards, but don't try to play more high cost cards with less economy.
Yeah, that would not be a good time.
Yeah. Next up, we have Stand Together level 3. This is choose another investigator location, and both you and them draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources. Great economy.
Just cash and cards.
Boring thing to spend 3 experience on, but good.
Yeah.
Then we have Relic Hunter and Charisma. Charisma is very good for Guardians in general. You get to have an extra dude to take damage for you. And Relic Hunter is like slightly less relevant for Guardians, but Zoe does have access to a decent amount of accessories in her level 0 off-color cards, and also her cross is an accessory. So you might want to have something else in addition to the cross should show up. Finally, we have I've Had Worse level 4. This is eats up to 5 damage or horror that would just be dealt to you, and then you get to gain that many resources. This looks like a soak card, but it's actually an economy card.
Yeah, and with that in mind, that even if you do like eventually get into there's a lower level version we'll talk about, but even if you're at the 4 experience one, don't try to like cheese that 5. Like if this deals you 3, just be like e-cash baby, and preventing the damage. Yeah. Continuing here, we got the upgraded Vicious Blow, more damage, more fist, more good. Lightning Gun, we do talk about this in the weapon video, but it's like a big weapon that you can use with Zoe. If you're gonna +5, yeah, and +2 damage, so it deals 3 damage. This is where that extra ammunition comes in really well, because it's basically another copy of it. So if you're gonna be looking at Lightning Gun, always also look at extra ammunition for you as well.
Yeah.
Into the off colors, we got Shortcut. It's a staple. I almost said it's a tactic. It is a tactic. It's also a staple. It's just free movement for somebody. It's a very, very nice card. Once again, if someone is not running it, and you just want to be efficient, grab Shortcuts.
Yeah.
Liquid Courage. This is a tool that we can use to heal horror.
Yeah, I in the past, and I think that our group in general has played this quite often as like that 5th off-color card in Zoe.
Yeah.
The item part is easy to fish out with things like Backpack or Tetsuo Mori that we'll see later, and it just shores up one of your, your only not even a weakness, but your only sort of soft spot.
Yeah,
that Zoe has.
Exactly. So. Fire Axe is a weapon option you can use. You spend resources to increase the value, and you deal +1 damage. And it's also kind of sick because if a ghoul engages you, he gives you the money to swing it with the Fire Axe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rite of Seeking. If you want to flex a bit, you can grab this to grab clues, or even if you're just if it's you have 4 of your off-color cards that you love, and then you're yeah, but I kind of want to help otherwise. Rite of Seeking could be that 5th card that you just use to grab clues whenever there's downtime.
Yep.
And then Delve Too Deep, Victory for everybody.
Yep.
The cost of an encounter card,
which you don't care about.
You don't care about, and honestly, really,
if your teammates care about it, that's their problem.
Yeah, just don't do it right away.
Yeah.
Do this like, near the end, or it's like
When it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in combination with some other tricks as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Carcosa. Beautiful Carcosa.
You like the color yellow, huh?
Yeah, and I think it's just because honestly, I think I just like Haster because I like theater and I like art. So I think that's just why he's always going to be my favorite.
Yeah, the backdrop of the play is very neat.
It is very neat.
It's a good setting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Let Me Handle This. The staple lets you take one of your teammates' encounter cards, and you are great at it. If it's a foot test, you'll have 4 foot. If it's a brain test, you'll have 6. If it's a monster, you're Zoey, so you'll kill it and get money. Like, no real downside to this one. Inspiring Presence is a skill that lets you ready an ally and heal damage or horror from it. Get a little bit more value out of your guard dog or whatever. Can do some neat tricks with Beat Cop where you shoot an enemy with him and then you attack, you commit the Inspiring Presence, you do damage, you ready and heal the Beat Cop, and you shoot the guy again and kill him. With True Grit, this is a slotless way to take health damage for yourself and for your teammates. Ever Vigilant is another solid economy card where you get to play up to 3 assets from your hand, reducing the resource cost of each by 1. As long as you have 3 assets in your hand, which you probably will, you're playing Guardian. This is like a better emergency cache in that it not just provides you with effectively 3 resources, but also compresses the actions to play them into 1 action.
Yeah.
We have our upgrade 45 automatic.
That's the cat feeder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Upgrade 45 automatic. You get an additional +1 fist, and you get to ignore retaliate, which this weapon in its own is nothing flashy or exciting, but it is nice to have something to upgrade your 45 automatics into.
Yeah. It also means that if you hit this, but not like a Beat Cop on your opening mulligan, you still get to attack at 6.
Yeah, that's pretty good, especially moving into the layer scenarios. You want your fist to scale a little bit with the scenario you're on.
Yeah.
You stick to the plan. This is a permanent and exceptional, so you're only allowed to have 1, and it costs 6 experience to put into your deck, even though it's a level 3 card. Permanent, it sits outside and just exists forever. Before you draw your opening hand, you can search your deck for up to 3 different tactic counter supplies and attach them to stick to the plan. And then cards attached to stick to the plan may be played as if they're in your hand. As additional cost to play the attached card, you exhaust stick to the plan. This is like the pinnacle of consistency for Guardians. You slap your Prepared for the Worst, you slap your Ever Vigilant, and you slap your extra ammunition on or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have a way to find your lightning gun, a way to play your lightning gun efficiently, and a way to reload it.
Yeah.
Just every game, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of boring, but like really good. On to our off-color cards, we have No Stone Unturned. This is a nice support card. Lets anyone look at the top 6 cards of their deck and draw one. It's a nice other option for Prepared for the Worst if you want more copies of it, because there's no way you're going to have Zoey and not Prepared for the Worst. We have Storm of Spirits. This is a nice sort of like AoE damage. It lets you get some use out of your 4 brain, potentially 5, depending on what allies and accessories are running. Then we have Logical Reasoning, which is a nice flexible level 0 card. It commits for 2 brains, those are symbols you love to see. You can only play if you have a clue, so you're going to want to play it, if you're playing this card, you want to play alongside something like Evidence or Scene of the Crime or Sixth Sense or The Right of Seeking we saw earlier. There's lots of options for Zoey to get those clues, so you shouldn't be too concerned about it, but you pick an investigator to either heal 2 horror or discard a treachery card from their threat area. Healing 2 horror is potentially very relevant for you, and the terror card can be very relevant for other players. In particular, most terrors you can manage with your 4 brain, but
yeah, but a rogue might not be able to. Think you can take this card, Travis?
Yeah, the keys. It's it takes up your accessory slot, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It soaks horror for you, and then
it does.
Makes you never.
That's the thing you're scared of.
Yeah, makes you never fail.
Never fail.
All right, on to the Forgotten Age, where we got snakes and spiders. Nope, spiders come later.
Spiders.
Survival Knife. This is a weapon that Travis was talking about. So this is the one that they attack you, and then you get to attack back.
Yeah.
So this is really good with Guard Dog, and then also just like most Guardian cards in general.
Yep.
Backpack is a staple. It helps you find item and supply cards. That's good. Because you're going to use those. You're going to want those. Yeah.
Yeah, your deck should have some items in it, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it already has the cross, right?
Yeah,
so,
you have to play one, so...
Yeah. And as soon as you start getting more, you can, like, start looking at backpack.
Yeah.
Scene of the crime. This is the one that Travis said that can help you get clues. It's played only as your first action. Discover a clue your location. 2 clues if there's an enemy there, and it does not provoke attacks of opportunity. It's always fun when you get 2 clues from a scene of the crime. But that shouldn't stop you from, if you need to, just getting 1.
It stops me. I was actually just thinking, I'm not sure I've ever played this for 1 clue.
That's so funny, yeah. It's a good, especially if you're running that logical reasoning. Take the initiative. Here's a staple. So this is actually a tool that you can use as well to grab a clue from a location if there's some downtime. Yeah, I think it's a very capable tool for that.
It's very reasonable.
Yeah, and then also it's just like really good defensive card, or if you're going to be like taking a shot during the like taking a shot at an enemy with your gun, be like, hey, I'm going to go first and shoot this. What's also really cool is that it's also good with survival knife, because it lets you, just gives you +3 for an attack as well, because
during this phase,
during this phase.
Right.
Yeah.
Neat.
Reliable. This is a fun, I love this card, even though is it good? Yes, I think it's kind of fun. You attach it to an item as you control, and while triggering abilities on attached asset, you get +1 to each of your skills.
I think this card's good.
This card gets better when it's on items that don't like run out of ammo. Like if you put this on like a weapon, like a machete.
Put this on your Time Worn brand, you're off to the races.
Yeah. And I think it's a really good low quality, low ask for your upgrades.
Yeah.
Well prepared. You get exhausted and choose an asset you control. Get +X skill value for this test, where X is the number of matching skill icons on the chosen asset. So this is you're gonna commonly see this in things like, for example, that flamethrower on the far right side of this page.
It's a lot of fist symbols.
It gets 3 fist symbols. There's a lot of cool well-prepared builds on our channel. We have an archetype video where we talk about well-prepared. We also have a video where we build around well-prepared. So if you want to, you can look our channel for more of those. There's a lot of cool things you can do with well-prepared, and just look at the icons on your assets and see if anything inspires you.
Mm-hmm.
Custom ammunition. You get to attach it to a firearm asset you control. You place 2 ammo on that asset. Hey, that sounds like custom ammunition, but it also makes it deal +1 damage against monster enemies.
It probably sounds like custom ammunition, because it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, isn't it 3 ammo on custom? I think it is.
This is custom.
Oh, sorry. What's the other one called? Extra ammunition. Yeah. Woo! This is our first video of the day, so I don't even have an excuse.
Already fried.
Yeah. It just deals more damage to monster enemies and gives you more ammo.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of monster enemies that you want to deal more damage to.
Yeah, and if you're building around firearms, more of it is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Time Worn brand is a weapon. It's a big beat stick. Spank the snake with the paddle. You'll love it. Flamethrower. It's actually in both the weapons and the staple video.
I believe it.
So if you want to see us talk about it, you can see it twice. It's just a really good killer weapon. That's also I've seen it played recently. It's been a while since I've seen it played. And it's insane how fair it is compared to Cyclopean Hammer. Mm-hmm. It still is very strong, but there's so many hoops you need to jump through, while Cyclopean Hammer is just, I swing at the hammer.
Yeah, swing at the hammer. I mean, I think Flamethrower is still I think Flamethrower is particularly good for Zoey, because you already want to be playing engaged tricks. You play this with, level 3 taunt and grab the 2 enemies your teammates drew, and then you just torch them all or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's a very good weapon, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with it apart from just, attack at +4 and deal 4 damage.
Yeah. For our off-color cards, we have Tooth of Esley. This is a little bit of competition for the accessory slot. I got it. You get +1 brain, +1 foot when you're doing treachery cards, puts you up to a very comfortable 5 and 3. And after you succeed a skill test, you get to draw a card. Card draw is nice for Zoey because you get an extra resources, so card draw is the part of the economy equation that you're missing, and just fills that in. We have you handle this one. This, usually you're pretty insulated against the encounter deck, but sometimes maybe you want to just push off a foot test to someone else, or there's especially if you're playing the Forgotten Age.
Yeah.
Very minor spoilers, but there's a vengeance mechanic. Maybe you don't want to have it because you're not gonna be able to get away from the snake, and you don't want to kill it.
And then also, if you're playing with a mystic who can also, stop things, you could even just be if they took the water protections, it's here's an ancient evil, maybe you can solve this. Yeah.
We got Perseverance. This is another flexible 2 brain card that just makes you not die sometimes, and the rest of the time is guts, so that's good.
Yeah.
We have Premonition. This is a very nice filler card. You play it, you'd see the next token one is going to be, and then you can kind of like plan your turns around it. Like maybe it's going to be a 0 and you can scum a clue off a 2-shroud location because that's relevant, and then let your clue figure other things. Maybe you're preparing for a really big lightning gun attack and you don't want to shoot your teammate. And you see that there's going to be an auto fail for the next test, and someone else goes and just dumps it into an investigation or whatever, you know. And we have Take Heart, which is just another economy option. You don't have great book, so you can like kind of translate. You can try and investigate like a 5-shroud location or whatever, and just turn that into a net 1 card and 2 resources.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. All right, on to the Circle Undone. We have Steadfast. This gives you Brain and Fist, which are conveniently the 2 stats you're going to be using the most often.
Hopefully.
If you have, it gives you more if you have 5 or 10 remaining health and sanity. It can give you more, so it can give you 3 Brain or 3 Fist when it's at its peak.
Great for Zoe because she has a higher total health and sanity than the average investigator.
Do all the Dunwich do ones? Do they get 1 more?
I don't know.
I don't either, so we'll move on from this. We got something worth fighting for. This is like the True Grit except for Brain, which is probably good because your Brain is a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the 45 Thompson and the Enchanted Blade, as well as their 2 upgrades on the bottom half of this screen. These are 2 weapon options that you can use. One thing, they each have a slight downside, even though they're both still very good weapons. Thompson takes 2 hands, Enchanted Blade takes a spell slot if you're going to be using those, but they do make up for that, and then their upgrades are also pretty juicy. Yeah. The upgraded Enchanted Blade draws a card and heals a horror. It's very nice. And then the upgraded Thompson, it gives you the money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also pretty sick.
These are fantastic weapons for when you want to be doing like something else with your Guardian deck that you with the experience instead of like sinking it into like 10 experience worth of weapons.
Yeah, yeah.
So
we got Hallowed Mirror, as well as its bonded card Soothing Melody. When you play Hallowed Mirror, you get to get one into your hand and the other 2 go into your deck. Notably, it does take up the accessory slot. As we said, there's a lot of good competition for Zoe's accessory slot. The Soothing Melodies heal damage and horror or any combination thereof of 2 from an investigator, an ally asset, and then it replaces itself. So just some healing for you. And then we got Ace of Swords, which is just nice and boring and good. +1 Fist, and if it's in your opening hand. And if it's not, you can put it to play if it's in your opening hand. And if it's not, 3 resources for just +1 Fist is a really good rate.
Great filler for that, like, 30th card, I guess, that offsets the 5th off-color card.
Yeah, yeah.
We have our Mark 1 grenades. This is a weapon that does not take up your any kind of slot, really.
Whoa.
And the Storm of Spirits we saw earlier, it's basically that, but 3 times with your fist.
yeah, no, that is, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's fairly situational, but when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
So we have our level 2 I've had worse here. It's the same as the previous one from the Dunwich cycle, except it cancels up to 2 damage and horror instead of 5, and it only costs 2 experience. Honestly, most of the time we consider this version to be better than the level 4 version, because it's not very often that you're taking more than 2 damage and or horror at the same time.
Yeah.
We have Deny Existence, which you'll find in our Purple Staples video, and if something bad would happen to you, it doesn't. It's pretty easy. It's pretty good.
No.
Prophesize is a nice, just generic skill.
It's practiced.
It is practiced. Yeah, there's not much more to say about it. It's just kind of like a filler skill card.
Yeah.
Act of Desperation is a fun one for Zoe. It functions as like a combat sort of spell, combat event, and also economy.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get to throw one of your item assets at something and then get the money back for it. We got our Meat Cleaver, which is a fun option weapon-wise for Zoe. You have to build around a little bit because it requires you to take horror damage, and you want to be ideally at 3 or fewer remaining sanity to get the +2 bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take horror to deal the extra damage, but you get to heal horror when you kill something, so it balances out most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a nice thing that's to sort of change things up for your Zoe builds, and it's also very on theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Mr. Rook here. He lets you look at the top 9 cards in your deck for any card and draw it, and then if there's a weakness there, you have to draw one of those as well. This is a very good card.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can actually you could even cheese your Smite the Wicked if there's say you're at a there's only some maps start smaller and there's 3 locations. You can just play Mr. Rook and just try to fish out your Smite the Wicked.
Yeah. The reason Mr. Rook is so good is because he offers you consistency in your deck, and also you get to you get more control over when your weaknesses show up. You'd much rather draw your Haunted or your Chronophobia or whatever on a turn when you have nothing to do than on a turn when you have like 3 enemies on you or whatever. So. Last we have Sixth Sense. This lets you investigate with your brain instead of your book an infinite number of times.
Yeah, so for me, like, because we talked about Rite of Seeking earlier, if you have both this and that in your collection, I would choose this one, because you don't really need to, like, your job isn't about clue compression. Your job is just to pick up clues when you can, and Sixth Sense is really good with that.
It is.
Sixth Sense lives in like pretty much every Zoey deck I've played since it's come out, which yes is only one. But still.
And sometimes you get to like scum a clue off a really good location.
Yeah.
Really high shroud location.
Yeah, just trick the game. Gotcha. We're on Dream Eaters?
Yeah.
All right, one thing we're going to just mention before we get to these cards. In the Dream Eaters cycle, there is a keyword called Swarm, which makes multiple enemies. So, like, basically, spiders, there's multiples of them. Zoey gets 1 resource for each one that engages her, for each copy.
Yeah, so if you're playing with, like, a 3-person group and you draw a Swarm enemy, I think it's like Swarm 1 is how it works, it gets, like, 1 card for each player?
No,
they scale with people in that.
Yeah, so some of them are just like
scale.
Swarming 2. Yeah, Swarming is just like Swarming 2.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played this cycle. But anyway, like there'll be the base enemy and 2 Swarm enemies. You get 3 resources, which is insane.
Which is so, especially
and, like, honestly, probably shouldn't be the way that works, but
also they're like so small too, because it makes up for the fact that there's so many of them by just making their stats lower. So you just like you get 3 resources for engaging and killing 3 rats. Like,
you just like 3 just working in the kitchen. And 3 like Zoogs show up and you just got your meat cleaver and you're like
is that why she gets the money? Because she's selling the things that she cooks?
Oh my god. Probably.
We gotta worry about Zoey. Solemn Vow. This commits for 2 guts baseline, but it also is just a fast myriad. Myriad means you get 3 copies. You can have up to 3 copies of it in your deck.
Yeah.
And then if you can play it under the control of another investigator. If the owner of Solemn Vow is at your location, they can exhaust and move a damage or horror from a card they control to a card you control. So this is really good with like the kind of support Zoey, but it's also just kind of like good with the like, say you have a Seeker who has low meat damage, and they can be like, hey, I'm going to give you some of this. And then Zoey's like, I'm okay, I'm a Guardian, and meat damage is what we do.
Yeah, this is a very real alternative to Guts.
Yeah. First watch, instead of drawing encounter cards normally, you look at the top X, where X is the number of investigators, and you get to divvy them out, giving no more to more than 1 to each investigator except you. You can take all of them.
Yeah.
But you can only give 1 to, like, your Mystic.
It's the only way to play this is you take all of them.
Yes, yeah. You make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Luckily, Zoey is, as we said, very good with the Mythos deck. Like, you might just want to give your foot tests to your Rogue, right? But if you just, like, even just grab, like, an enemy and a brain test, and then, like, your Rogue just does a foot test, it's a really nice card.
Yeah, this card plays really well with the sort of AoE damage cards she has access to, like Flamethrower and the Mark 1 grenades and Storm of Spirits. You can take multiple enemies, get the money for them, and then just kill them all with like an action.
Yeah. We have Daring, which gives you 3 icons on an attack. Then that enemy gains Retaliate. And then after this test...
And Alert.
But also you can use it on Invasion, but I'm saying you're probably going to use this one more likely on the attack because Zoey can actually kill things.
Yep.
It basically just makes you get 3 icons, but the enemy gains Alert. So there's a bit of a positive and a downside, but the secret is most enemies have Alert that you're going to want to use this. Oh, sorry, have a Retaliate that you're going to want to use this on anyway.
Also, if you have 7, you're probably not going to fail.
Yeah, and it also replaces itself when the test ends, even if you get bombed.
Yeah, that's really
it's a nice card. Tetsuo Mori. I honestly was shocked he's not in our staples. I was like, is this guy in our staple video? No, because we were like eyes open to what Tetsuo was when we did the staples.
Yeah, no, he's so good.
Yeah, so this guy, he takes damage for other people, and then when he's defeated, you choose an investigator location. That investigator searches either their discard pile or their top 9 cards of their deck for an item asset and adds it to their hand. Very good card.
Yeah.
He's a great ally, and he'll die for you again and again, and he'll love doing it.
Yeah, he's even got the cop stash.
Yeah.
Never noticed that before.
Is it a cop stash or just the shadow?
It might just be a shadow.
Yeah. Let's go to this. You find him, because I'll talk about Hungering Blade. It says, this is my slide, not your slide. I can't pass work on to you. All right, Hungering Blade. This is a weapon that has a little unique mechanic. So you're gonna shuffle 3 copies of Bloodlust into your deck. Bloodlust is remove 2 offerings from the Hungering Blade and attach. Let's go with this again. You remove 2 offerings from the Hungering Blade to attach Bloodlust to it. If you cannot, take 1 horror and shuffle Bloodlust back into your deck. So there is a downside to this one. It can deal you horror if you don't have offerings on the your Hungering Blade. How do you get offerings on the Hungering Blade? So you get +1 fist for this attack with a fight action for each attached copy of Bloodlust. This attack deals +1 damage. If this attack defeats an enemy, place a resource on this card from the token bank.
This was not in here.
Where the frick is Tetsuo? Oh, I know where he is. He's in my Roland deck I have over there. So we'll never know. So basically, when you kill enemies with the blade, you get resources as offerings. Those offerings are eventually eaten by Bloodlust. However, when they eat it, they then attach to the blade. And then as a lightning bolt, you can shuffle a Bloodlust attached to it into your deck to deal +1 damage. So this can deal 3 damage with 1 attack. It's a really cool, really fun card. Mm-hmm. Travis, I think, played a deck where he used Mr. Rook to try to fish these out, which is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, it was really fun. And
was it Zoey?
It was Zoey, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we played through Dream Years, and I was like...
It's a cool card. Is it good? I don't think it's like a great weapon, but it's certainly a fun weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. We have Fool Me Once. This is some Mythos deck mitigation. So when you resolve a Treachery card after resolving its effects, you can play Fool Me Once, and then you put it into your threat area with Fool Me Once attached. Then when an Investigator draws a copy of attached Treachery card, you can discard Fool Me Once and cancel that card's Revelation effect. Basically, like, you get fricked by 1 Ancient Evils, but you say, not again, god dang it.
Yep.
Safeguard, never move again. That's really nice for fighters because you can, spend more time fighting. And also that this one you move at the same time with that person. So if they move into a location with an enemy, you get to grab that enemy before it grabs them.
Yeah.
Then we got Leadership, the upgraded version. If it's successful, you gain 2 resources. And if it's committed to another player, they also gain 2 resources. It's a great card. It always makes people happy when they see it.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Heroic Rescue level 2. Level 1 is like of dubious quality. But this one is quite a bit better, I think. So it's fast. You play when a non-elite enemy would attack another investigator at your location or a connecting location, and you get to move there if you're not already there, engage that enemy, and they attack you instead, but then the enemy takes damage. So, that's a lot of things that Zoe likes, especially playing like survival knife builds and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a nice little trick for her. We got our Empty Vessel, which is associated with the Wish Eater. This is a great accessory for pretty much any Guardian. After you defeat an enemy, you put a charge on the Empty Vessel, which is what you're here to do. And as a lightning bolt, there are at least 3 charges on the Empty Vessel, so you can wait until you have more than 3 if you'd like, but you can swap it with the Wish Eater, moving all the charges onto the Wish Eater. And then the Wish Eater is, after you reveal a symbol token during a skill test, you can spend a charge to cancel that Chaos token, heal damage, and horror. And if it has no charges, you swap it back with the Empty Vessel. Very powerful card, especially late for some of the later scenarios when like the squid is -5 or whatever, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll heal instead. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the Black Cat here. He takes up your ally slot, but he is probably the best soak. 3rd best soak card in the game.
Yeah. What are your first 2?
Pete.
Yeah, Pete
and Jessica.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, because they also give you stats.
yeah. And you don't have to rely on getting the other side to heal them. But anyway, the Black Cat does also help you avoid those tombstone and squid symbols. And you just start for +5, and then heal even if you're only healing 2 or 3 damage, just
And what's great is that with the Black Cat out, when you draw your Elder Sign during a Mythos test, you can just heal the cat. If you draw it during an attack, you just deal more damage.
Yeah, sometimes you get to Scum, Booker, Foot test during the Mythos phase. It feels so good.
Yeah.
We have Scrounge for Supplies, level 0 cards on the Survivor Staple video. You just get a level 0 card back from your discard pile to your hand. This card is very nice if you are building around a level 0 card, like for example if you want to play Dark Horse or something like that, and you have to discard for whatever reason. This is a nice way to basically play extra copies of it. Spectral Razor. I think this card made it into the Do we put spells like this in the weapons video?
No.
No. It's definitely in the spells video, though.
Yeah.
In addition to the staples. Great for Zoey because you get to attack 8, and it deals +3 damage to the enemies not elite, which kills a lot of not elite enemies. And you get to engage the enemy as part of the attack. Like, my God.
It pays you back.
Yeah, it only costs 1.
Yeah.
And then last we have Practice Makes Perfect. This card is a yellow staple, and you get to search for 9 cards for a practice skill, and then commit, and if you succeed, you get the practice skill back. You can play lots of very powerful practice skills in Zoey.
Mm-hmm.
Such as, I mean, you get the usual Guardian suite of like Vicious Blow and Overpower and Take the Initiative and Leadership, but you also get access to random off-color stuff like Promise of Power.
Yeah.
And
Prophesy.
Is one.
One we didn't have here was Stunning Blow is another one.
Stunning Blow is an option, yeah. And
just a lot of good stuff.
Hatchet Man might be practiced.
I'll find out. Because where's that Hatchet Man? Hatchet Man, if you don't know, is the guy going like, oh, we all know the art.
Yeah, no, like the card is very strong.
It is practiced.
Yeah, I remember. You can play on other people's cards too, and because of a fun little rules quirk, you can like play it at. There's like lightning bolts before and after cards are committed, so cards like this get around the limit of committing 1 card to someone else's test. So if your Kluver needs to punch something, you can be like, here's no overpower from my hand. I'll play Prax Makes Perfect. Dig up a Vicious Blow for you.
Yeah. And then you also
boom, you get him +3.
Yeah, and then like it's one of those things that like doesn't feel right, and but it like makes sense in the rules. But you know, it's one of those things you just wish didn't work like that. But it is how it works. That is how it works. You could do that. Yeah. Okay, on to Innsmouth. So, there's an entire archetype of a bunch of cards, which are just the blessed and cursed cards. For this one, notably, it's the blessed cards because
she can't play the other ones.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, the Guardian Blessed video, rather than talk about all the blessed cards in each one of these expanded guides, we can share you to that archetype guide down below. We do have some choice cards here, as well as like 2 very nice cursed cards that she can play. But first, we're going to start with Holy Rosary, which is phenomenal. In Zoey, even if you're not doing blessed shenanigans. You get +1 brain, it soaks for 2 horror, and then after you succeed a brain test on a treachery, exhaust Holy Rosary, add 2 blessed tokens to the chaos bag.
Yeah, the blessed tokens are just gravy.
Yeah. Like, it's just a very good accessory slot item for her. We have enchant weapon. You're going to make your weapon magic.
And a relic. Yeah, take up an arcane slot.
Which allows you to add your brain to your fist for this attack, and it deals +1 damage once per round. It's a very nice card. Very good in Zoey, because, you know...
4 brain is a
4 brain.
lot. +4 is a lot.
We have Plan of Action. It's a practice skill. It gives you brain or foot during your first action. Draw a card during your second action. And fist in a book in your third action. So there's a lot of versatility here. This one's really nice because the middle draw action I think is actually very good for her.
Yep.
Right. And then if it's you really need that little boost, you can use it as the last action instead to get an overpower in your hand.
Yep.
Faustian Bargain, it's a staple. It's really good. 5 money, 1 action, 2 curse tokens.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. It's a lot of money for like no downside. 2 curse tokens ain't a problem.
Yeah, they tried to tell you there's a downside with curse tokens, but they're lying.
Yeah, they are. It's actually kind of funny, too, by the way curse works, that if it was, like, put 4 curse tokens in, it would just, like, bust curse decks wide open. They'd be like, we're going to go. Yeah. Promise of Power. This is a very good practice skill. You get 4 freaking icons at the cost of adding a curse token to the chaos bag.
Oh, no.
If you cannot take 2 horror instead. I've seen it happen, but it's very rare. It's very rare. Yeah, just 4 for a test is really good.
Yeah, I think I had to not commit this one time because of the horror.
Yeah.
When I was playing that Amanda deck, but that's the only time.
Armageddon. It's a spell that synergizes with curse tokens. If you're playing, like, if your splash cards are Faustian Bargain, Promise of Power, and Deep Knowledge, which we don't have here, consider... Oh, no, then you can't run Armageddon. Sorry, let me go that again. Faustian Bargain, Promise of Power, Armageddon. That's a pretty alright for payoff there.
Yeah, it is just like also kind of extra copy of Shriveling if that's something you really want.
Yep.
Same thing with Eye of Chaos if that's something that you're really interested in, or Shroud of Shadows. Is that the evasion one?
Yeah, with Dexter.
Yeah, if you really want an evasion spell and you don't have access to like Mists of Relia or Ineffable Truth. That's a solid option.
Oh man, and now someone watching this video is gonna bring Evade Zoey to Patron Game Day.
I hope not.
And then she's gonna die, and then we're gonna be like, why did you bring Evade Zoey? It's like, oh, I thought it'd be fun. Alright, Edge of the Earth, Travis.
Hey, we gotta Get Behind Me. Whenever an enemy would attack another investigator location, it attacks you instead, then engages you, and you take one less horror from it. Pays you to play it. Great way to protect your allies. Good card. Medical Student is just an ally. Is like the epitome of disposability, where you play it and you heal yourself or another guy, and then you just push it in front of the bus as soon as you can. We have Sledgehammer as a fun weapon for Zoey, because you are extra in. So Sledgehammer 0 and especially Sledgehammer 4, you're like kind of extra incentivized to play engage cards because you're playing Zoey already. So she gets to play with the Sledgehammer's 2 action fight and the Sledgehammer 4's 3 action fight a lot better than most investigators, or a lot more naturally, I guess, than other investigators. So if you want to play with the Sledgehammer, I think Zoey's a very good choice for it. We have Defensive Stance in case you really need foot. You could have +4. You just play Promise Power, but
We're not here to.
Yeah, you can pay 1 experience for it. Fun thing is this is practice, but it does not work with practice makes perfect. Because why would it? Why put the tag on it? So Amanda can commit this for 2?
Yes. She can commit it for 2.
I don't think she can.
This honestly,
I don't think she can.
This would have been fun if this had a new okay, because it's not in your. It's not coming. It's not.
If it's under her, it's not in your hand or commit to a skill test. So
because I don't think you treat it as if it's in your hand. I think this honestly could have used a new trait for it too.
Yeah.
I think it could have been a fun archetype to explore in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not as if it's in your hand.
Yeah, call it like adaptable or something like that. If that wasn't already a card, but whatever. We have Combat Train level 3. It's fast, composure, so you have to put non-direct damage under horror onto the Combat Train before anything else. Or before your investigator card, sorry, not anything else. If you have other allies or assets that can take damage or horror, you are allowed to put it onto those before the Combat Train. Gives you +1 fist and +1 foot, and you can spend a resource to get +1 fist or +1 foot for the skill test. Soaks 3 hearts, 1 brain. It's a nice, easy. It's cheap resource-wise, expensive experience-wise, but a good way to get +1 fist and the additional foot if that's something you care about.
Yep.
On the Hunt, level 3. I forgot this card existed.
It's a very good card.
Yeah. Fast, you get to play it when you're drawing a counter card during the Mythos phase. You get to search the encounter deck for an enemy, spawn engage with you, attach On the Hunt to it, and then shuffle the deck, and when you defeat the attached enemy, you gain 3 resources. It's a good way to ensure that you're drawing an enemy, which is what you want to deal with, and then it basically gives you 4 resources.
Yeah.
4 resources for killing the enemy, yeah.
Now, also, I'm going to be putting my hand up because I'm going to be doing some spoilers. So when I put my hand down, you can unmute the video. This is spoilers for Dream Eaters. If you don't want to get spoiled, mute the video now. All right. But Travis, you know what's so sick? You can use this
I want to be spoiled.
You know it. You know it. You know what's so sick about On the Hunt? You can use it to bully Nyarlathotep by pulling him out of the deck and spawning him engaged with you in the final scenario. You just beat him to death. Alright.
That's good.
That is sick.
We got Fang of Tiota here. This is a guy from Tindalos, if you were wondering. It's denoted by the flavor text, and also his appearance in one of the standalones, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a 3-cost event that costs 4 experience to put in your deck, but it's really powerful and fun to play with.
Yeah, it is cool.
You get to fight. You pick an enemy anywhere on the revealed location, and then before resolving the attack, you may move to that enemy's location. You add your foot to your fist, and the attack deals +3 damage.
And I'm pretty sure when you move to its location, if it's not engaged with anybody, it engages with you. If it's just hanging out, yeah. So then it also gives you a money back.
Yeah. Expensive for 4 experience, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have some On the Trails here. These are another option for just movement and potentially clue getting for Zoey. Neither of them are like particularly spectacular at either side of those, but they are functional in both.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, keeping this going, we got Michael Lee. He gives you +1 book and +1 fist, putting you up to 3 book. And after you successfully investigate, place a resource on Michael Lee as evidence to a maximum of 3. When you initiate an attack, you can exhaust Michael Lee and spend an evidence. You deal +1 damage for this attack. You'll need to build like around this if you want to be doing Michael Lee. You're going to need to like do some tricks to like also further explore that side of the clue getting.
Yeah, that'd be a neat deck. Play Michael Lee and you show up with your 6 senses and your Ray to See Kings and upgrading your Holy Rosary. You're like, yeah.
And I think there's a lot of potential there. Like even like this guy also does soak for 3 and 3 and give you a fist as well.
I should hope so. It costs 5.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. Like he's very expensive. So I think that if you want to like really explore Michael Lee, you should dive in and do that idea. That actually does sound like a fun idea. 2 Branded Cthulhas. These should have the spell tags, but I want to talk about them, so I didn't tag them, so I'm going to have to talk about them here.
It's a little bit corrupt.
It is, yeah. This is just a really great, like, gun that doesn't take up a hand slot. You can use your fist, you get plus value for it. It's a Guardian card, so you can go to the high level version. It's very good. Play it. Speaking of very good, play it. Here's Cyclopean Hammer. This card's very good.
Attack
Play
at
it.
8.
Attack at 8. You don't even need to do anything. You just attack at 8.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And you sometimes get to deal 3 damage.
Yeah. We have Protective Gear. This is a soak option for you. It does cost 4, but it does soak for 3 and 3, which is a very big amount of soak.
Yep.
When you draw a Hazard Treachery, you can deal a damage in a Hoard of Protective Gear to cancel that card's Revelation effect. This is good in Innsmouth, Forgotten Age, and Edge of the Earth for hazards, if you're looking at that. The upgraded Sledgehammer. More bonk.
Big bonk.
Big bonk. As Travis did say, though, that the low-level version does work really well in Zoey because you're not as upset about taking an engage action.
Yeah, as long as you're committed to only using the 2 action one, because the -1 punch on the first action is bad. It feels really bad for Zoey.
We have Prophetic, which you can use to play for Fortune Spell or Spirit cards, and then you can also boost Fortune Spell or Spirit cards when you spend resources on that. There's a lot of cool spells that Zoey can access that we've already told you about, but there's also a bunch of Spirit cards in the Guardian class that you can take advantage of as well to pay for things. We also have Bruiser, which does the same for armor, firearm, and melee. Hey, look at that.
This card, this is what I don't like about the gold cards. This is a blue card.
Yes.
Like, it is.
Yeah. Because like
this card is multicolor for the sake of being multicolor.
Like with Survivor is probably
so.
These are all the classes that use firearms.
Armor is definitely
and melee
is definitely the blue one.
Yeah.
Because the other classes get like Protective Gear, which is another multicolor one. That's kind of it. I think I can't think of any more armors in green or red. And then like green's gotta be the firearm one. Yeah. They don't have. I mean, they have like what, Switchblade?
Switchblade and Knuckle Duster.
Yeah, and then some leaves melee for Survivor, which is like fair. They got baseball bat and fire axe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those are all blue things.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It is very blue. But I mean, like as Survivor especially gets more weapons, and you could argue that like the green benefits from this one because they have the money to pay for it more as well. Like they can boost their thing. But yeah, it is very much blue. We got Scout Ahead. This is an off color, the first one we have here. You can move up to 3 times, and enemies do not engage you during this movement. Oddly enough, that is kind of a downside a little bit because you might want to like grab some enemies on the way, but you also could just like go like 1, 2, and then move back and be like, "Come here, motherfucker."
Yeah, like it is nice as like kind of a get out of the game option as well. If you're staying back and just soaking enemy attacks, stuff like that, you can move 3 times to potentially the Resign location and only take 1 attack opportunity.
Oh yeah.
20-hour bus. This is here because it is fun.
It's very fun.
It's also like a fortune that you can pay for with your prophetic if that's something you're into. I guess.
Whoa! It's free.
Yeah, it's just a resource card that is fun to play with.
It's great when Bryn plays it.
Yeah.
And then we get to watch him play it, and then we get all the dopamine we need from ever having to play it.
Yeah, and we had to watch Bryn be sad because he's at like 19. He's like. He wants to keep going, but he's like, I will.
Yeah, there's no more ones left.
Yeah. We got Dragon Pull, which is a nice fun archetype, I think, that Zoey can run. You get +1 fist for each of your arcane slots that's filled. And if at least 2 of your arcane slots are filled, the attack deals +1 damage. You have some fun options in Guardian to make this weapon work and build around it, as well as the cards to find it consistently. You can play Prepare for the Worst and Backpack and Tetsuo to dig it up.
Yep.
And then you have... you've got like, you can play other purple cards for your off-color cards to help fill up your arcane slots, but also you get like Flesh Ward.
Yep.
You can play Enchant Weapon on this to further support it and take another arcane slot. Lots of neat stuff.
Yeah.
Advantages. After Investigator ally at your location takes 1 more damage, you spend a supply to heal damage from that card. Great support card. Especially if you're playing lots of cards that let you take attacks for your teammates and stuff like that. This is a good way to help mitigate some of that damage. Jury Rig is attached to an item asset controlled by any investigator, and during a skill test on the attached asset, they can spend 1 durability to get +2 skill value for this test. You do that multiple times if it's really important. It's just a nice way to get extra punch out of your weapons for the most part. And then finally we have Hit Me, which is like another fun card. This card fills a very similar role to Lucky, but is more fun and probably worse.
Yeah, I can confirm it's only drawing skulls. It's definitely worse for me, at least.
That's what you get for playing Jim so often.
It's true. They're like, you love skulls, and I'm like, no,
Stop.
please, no. All right. If anyone's wondering, Jim is like the second to last investigator we're doing in this. Just so anyone's wondering, where's the Jim expanded guide? It's
You go watch one of the other purple investigators.
honestly, yeah, yeah, 100%.
Go watch like the Akachi guide.
Or like Jacqueline 5
Yeah.
and just be like, there's Jim. Physical training. We're into the return 2 boxes now. Physical training, you can spend resources to get brain or fist. Which is nice because resources, you get them from just engaging enemies as well.
Yeah.
Upgraded Bandolier, it holds 2 additional weapons. And if weapons are held in 2 or more of your hand slots, you get +1 brain. Very nice in Zoey.
Great.
If you're playing base Bandolier, honestly, get to the 2nd level pretty early on. Like maybe by like scenario like 4 or 5, I think would be like where you want to aim for that.
You know what this works really well with? A Cyclopean Hammer.
It does work
It's
very
2
well.
hands. The downside is you don't need any more hand slots.
Yeah, it is. You don't need more after that.
Cyclopean Hammers.
Do you remember that one time we were doing the Patreon game day, the epic multiplayer, and someone sold somebody a Cyclopean hammer?
And it just ruined the game for them.
Because they're like, they built this cool spell slinging Akachi deck,
Yeah.
but then they got the Cyclopean hammer and they just only swung the hammer. Yeah, great. Upgraded Blackjack, the playable version. And I also just love that of the cards that so on our Discord server, Mike made a card emote, and he chose Blackjack, and I want to know like what,
Like the level 0?
no, I don't know, it's so small I can't see what level it is, but it's just Blackjack. But I just love that was the card that Mike ended up choosing. Just like he probably went to ArkhamDB, clicked on a link, clicked on a card, and then it was just Blackjack. But you gotta ignore. So you did when you attack enemies engaged with another investigator, deal +1 damage with attack, and if you succeed, you deal no damage if you fail.
Yep.
Bryn likes to say that he likes to use like a blackjack machete combo depending on how things are working.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very viable option that you could explore. Upgraded survival knife. Now when they attack you, you get to attack and deal damage before they resolve the attack, which means that if you kill them, they're dead. No attack goes through. Upgraded backpack is so good that I still feel like I'm cheating when I play it.
I do too. I think this card would have gotten tabooed if it didn't come from
A return
Return
to?
2.
Yeah. And honestly,
It's kind of ridiculous.
there's no doom saying here, but it looks like the return to boxes are being discontinued. I do think that these cards are going to find a home somewhere else if they're in the return to, like maybe through the print-on-demand Game Center printing. However, if you are able to find a Return to the Forgotten Age box, it is highly recommended because I do think it has the best card in all the Return to boxes, which is Backpack 2. Like, that card.
If I was looking for Return 2s, I would really would prioritize the Forgotten Age one, and I think probably the Dunwich one.
Yep.
The Dunwich one has like solid cards and then like improves the gameplay a lot, especially since the Dunwich Legacy is like a little bit lackluster compared to some of the newer campaigns. And then the Forgotten Age like fixes the few flaws. That campaign has like a couple flaws that they're few in number, but they're pretty glaring.
Yes, yeah.
And if it does a good job of sort of massaging them out. Making it a lot more enjoyable to play.
Yeah. And once again, this isn't me like trying to like doomsay and be like, you know, the Arkham sky is falling, get your stuff right now, they'll never be seen again, because I do think that these cards will take another shape somehow.
because they're just because they're not developing them anymore doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to reprint them.
They're not reprinting the Return to Night of the Zealot anymore, so I could see
that's fine.
casing with the other ones too. It's all this is all just like hypothetical. Like there's no actual thing.
Cards.
Yeah, no, that one is kind of yeah. And honestly, like who's playing Night of the Zealot anymore after you've played like it a few times when you're starting out?
I mean, the Return to is like not awful. I could see like maybe if I was like going out to a cabin for a weekend or whatever with like 3 other people, I was like, yeah, bring out a Zealot and play one evening.
All right, you win this one. You win this one. But you know what? Now I'm going to arrange in like 3 years. I'm going to be like, hey, we're going to go to a cabin, and then when you don't bring it, I'm going to be like, aha! I knew it. We have the Star. Each asset you control with health gets +1 health. Each asset you control with sanity gets +1 sanity. It's a tarot card, so if it's in your opening hand, you put it into play. If you're going to be playing things like Tetsuo, if you're going to be playing things like Something Worth Fighting For, if you're going to be playing like Brother Xavier, this is probably worth exploring. If you're going to be playing Guard Dog and Beat Cop, this also could be worth exploring for you. Yeah,
this card's kind of weird because it's like not really a build-around card, but you gotta kind of build around it.
Yeah, because like the payoff is just more, right?
Yeah, but like if you want to do that, if you want to do the soaking thing is very good, but you have to commit to the soaking thing.
Yeah. Last card we have here is Hallowed Mirror. It's a very nice upgrade. So now you can choose when you resolve a soothing melody to treat each 2 on it as a 3, which I love the rule text on that. It's just like, go nuts, change the number, we don't care.
Yeah.
If you change it as a 3, it's discarded. If you keep it as a 2, though, which how it was at the level 0 deck, you shuffle it back into your deck afterwards.
Well, you don't have to do either of them. It's not forced.
Whoa. So you can just like play it as you can treat it as 2 and then discard it.
Yeah, you can play it as a... Yeah.
That's great.
Hey, that could be relevant. Maybe you're playing like Sister Mary and you need another soothing melody this turn to play with your Divermus Mysteris.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, it's a great upgrade.
Could be.
It's a good time, and people love it when you heal them with that.
Yeah.
All right, we're the light at the end of the tunnel. Travis and I are both dying after this video.
We're like on topic for the first like 3 cycles. When we get to the end, we're like, haha.
Yeah, it is true.
Funny jokes.
It is true. All right, Travis, why don't you start here?
Yeah, we got our Flesh Ward. I mentioned this when I talked about the Dragon Pole. It takes up Arcane slot. Can eat damage or horror from attack 4 times, and can also soak a heart and a brain, which is actually, this card I think is like a little bit undervalued. I don't think it's a great card, but I think that people don't respect it quite as much as they should, soak wise. We have our level 0 Safeguard, which when an investigator moves from your location to a connecting location, you can move after them once, because you have to exhaust it. Just a nice way to compress actions team-wise. It's one less action that your team as a whole has to spend moving. We have our level 0 Stand Together. It's in the Guardian Staples. You and another investigator get 2 resources. Easy. Great.
Yeah.
Get over here is another sort of mobility option. The level 0 version. At the top, you can engage an enemy at your location or a connecting location, moving them to you, and you get to attack it. And then the level 2 version, right below it, is fast. You can play during any lightning bolt window, which is actually huge. I'll get to that in a second. But the other benefit is you can choose an enemy up to 2 locations away.
It's honestly, I'm just thinking right now, it's a good card. It's like it does like what you want to do. It's a good card.
Yeah, someone draws like an encounter card, wants to make a brain test. You can just like scoop an enemy during that. Or you can like move to their location during the first lightning bolt, so you can commit a card to their thing.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, no, those play during any lightning bolt windows have a lot of neat play that rewards you for having the turn structure beside you when you play.
All right, what about this? All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, how the way it works with this game is when you start a test within a test, it waits until that original test finishes.
Yeah.
So it's all Guardian run. Okay, This is the set. So Bryn is attacked by an enemy. He goes to stab him with his survival knife 2.
Yeah.
I get over here that enemy. Then I get my fight locked. Bryn stabs it. I finish it off. 4 health enemy done in the enemy phase.
That's pretty sick.
That does seem kind of sick and also like needlessly unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use like if someone draws like Mysterious Chanter, put Doom on an Acolyte, you can just like slide yourself over there and then like punch him immediately after it ends.
Yeah.
You can use this to scum your teammates at flamethrower tests.
Yep.
You're like, I'll attack him. You're like, he's engaged to me now. Anyway, we have Overpower 2 in the bottom left here. It's Overpower, but more symbol and more card. Easy. And we have Taunt level 3, which is... Taunt level 1 is not a good card. I would not play it in my Zoey deck despite the intended synergy, unless I was playing down the rabbit hole build. Taunt level 2, or level 1, I forget which one it is workable. It's solid for what it does. It replaces itself. And...
That came out on Edge of the Earth, right?
No. It came out in Dunwich.
Wow, I know nothing about this game.
I'm pretty sure it came out in Dunwich. It might be level 2.
Oh yeah, I think it's level 2.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you get a draw card for
Look
each
at that.
enemy.
This is blank in my binder. I don't even know it exists.
Yeah, it's like it's playable. This one though is great. It's fast. Again, you can play it during any lightning bolt window.
Yeah.
And then you get to this one doesn't have a nested test in it, so you can like scoop enemies and kill them before they get to do a thing in the Mythos phase potentially, or during the I think during the enemy phase. Like I said, if I'm playing these cards, I play with the rules beside me. Yeah, you get to engage a number of enemies, and then you get to deal damage to them and draw a card. It's so good. Tesla's damage, fast, for 0 resources for Zoey, sometimes positive money, and card draw. Like, this card's insane.
Really good with swarming enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, it's just like someone's holding like the frickin' swarm of spiders. For 1 resource, you get 3, kill them, and draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. You can you can even do it like during some other time when it's like, so they can take their turn before you if it's relevant.
Yep.
Yeah, we got Physical Training 4 here. This is like the actually good one of the 3. You'll notice the level 0 one didn't make it here, and that's because it's trash. This one costs 2 to play, unlike the level 2 version, and it has 2 uses on it. You replace those uses at the start of each round. And as Lightning Bolt, you can spend a resource from your resource pool or from the card itself to get +1 brain or +1 fist for the skill test. This is basically 2 free fist or brain every turn. Free guts, free overpower every turn. Great card. And then the last one, our lonely little green card here, is the Mauser C at 96, which is just a gun that you can play.
Yeah, it might seem weird that like I'm a guardian. Why would I use my green splash for why would I use my splash for a weapon when I have them in guardians? It's because the like Mauser is designed with that rogue principle where they're attacking with like 3 most of the time.
Yeah.
So like succeeding by 2 to gain a resource is less likely. But however, when you're a guardian who can use this, it's just like I'm gonna succeed and gain resources.
Yeah, they expect you to have like put something else into the equation, some other resource to get that succeed by 2 bonus. But if you're a guardian, you just get to like do it.
You just gotta do it. Our last 3 splash cards here, we have Lonnie Ritter. So Lonnie Ritter actually can do nice work in Zoey because she is a way for Zoey to get a fist and then also just like not die to horror damage.
Yeah.
You do need to run an item that can soak damage for you, but luckily that's easy. Yeah.
I can't think of any right now, but it's easy.
No, me neither. And in all fairness, too, it only gets easier as the game gets bigger, too. Yeah. We say that in theory, that hopefully in like 3 years from now, we can look back and be like, oh yeah, there is the blue belt item.
Play Armor of Ardennis.
Armor of Ardennis. Yeah, that is pretty sick. Azure Flame, it's another kill spell. Yeah. And then we got a Test of Will. Play when Investigator draws a non-weakness treachery card. Test Brain 3. If you succeed, cancel that card's Revelation effect. This can be an option that if like you're going into like say you have like a Holy Rosary or like a Bandolier and you don't want to have the horror from Ward of Protection, you can look at running this instead.
Yep. Or you can play it with Ward of Protection.
Yeah, and just never draw an encounter card that you don't want to resolve.
I would play this probably over Ward Protection if I was playing sort of like an encounter deck control version, because you can stop. This one inherently stops treacheries from investigators your location, not just yours.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
All right, Travis.
Yeah.
Deck list.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, it's practice makes perfect. Yeah, so weapon-wise, we got our 45 automatic as sort of filler. We got 2 survival knives. We have some enchanted blades. I think I made this one. Machete was tabooed, but it doesn't really matter. Those could be machetes too. Enchanted blade's cooler though.
It is also.
So you got that. We got Beat Cop, like those 5 cards, and the 2. Is there no Prepare for the Worst in here?
No, maybe there wasn't.
10, 8, 19, 20. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Those 5 weapons are probably. Oh yeah, we were playing Test for More instead. Right. Sorry, I made these deck lists like a year ago.
Yeah. I'm basically Travis, what was your thought process on this deck you made ages ago? You have no time to prepare.
Yeah, just like it comes up on the screen. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Bukov, Tetsuo, Mori are just solid allies for you. Let me handle this. It can keep your teammates safe. We got the one of logical reasoning to help shore up that 6 sanity and maybe help with a brain test or whatever.
Yeah.
Spectral Razor is just a very, very good card for Zoey. I think I've played it in most of my Zoey decks since it came out. We got Prax Makes Perfect with our nice little suite of practice cards over there. Everything except for the Steadfast can be flipped with that. And Stand Together is just a solid economy card. Again, we're not playing Emergency Cash. I think Stand Together is a little bit more flexible, and you're going to be getting... You don't have anything here that costs an exorbitant amount. So we're just playing less economy cards.
Do you know what actually would be fun to do with this deck? Just a quick little a change as I'm just looking at this now, because you were talking about like the Enchanted Blade over Machete.
Yeah.
If you take the logical reasoning, turn it into a down the rabbit hole, then add a backpack in the spot that it left. And then just like, because then you have automatic, survival knife, beat cop, enchanted blade, stand together, leadership, overpower, vicious blow.
Yeah, this deck, I was going to say you probably want to prioritize upgrading the leadership and the survival knife here, because the level 0 versions are a little bit lackluster compared to level 2 versions, and that would help with a lot. It's a good idea.
This seems actually like there's a lot, as we said, there's a lot of directions. I'm actually curious to see the Zoey, that Michael Lee investigating deck. That sounds like a fun time. But I do think that this is just a nice, simple, choppy deck, which is kind of cool.
Michael Lee is just like been assigned to the case because someone's been murdering people and selling their flesh on the black market. So
she's like, I don't know who that could be.
I'll help you figure it out, though.
Thanks for watching this expanded guide. We'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about Miss Mandy Thompson, which should be a good time.
Yeah.
Other than that, huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel, and also everyone watching live. Sorry, not live on YouTube. I had the... because in my memory bank, I loaded the wrong tape. We put in the Twitch sign off, not the YouTube sign off. But thank you everyone who's watching on YouTube. If you have any other cards that you think are pretty cool in Zoey Samaras, let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, have a good one. Thanks for watching. And as always, a GG's.